Hi, my name is Chef Ann Cooper. I am the former Director of Food Services for Boulder Valley School District, and we're standing outside of the Culinary Center we built a couple of years ago. Boulder Valley School District accepted a strategic plan that we presented that included how we were going to change Boulder Valley Schools' food over a 10-year time frame from highly processed, which was when I got here, to scratch cooked. And in doing so, go from cooking in 32 kitchens to 5 to 3 and eventually 1. And that's how we started this process. The hardest part is working through change while you're on the ground making food. So every day we had to get up and feed kids. We had to educate kids. We had to work with families. We had to work through change. I worked through 4 different superintendents, numerous school board members, getting the money into the budget, continuing to make sure we got the money into a bond, and even then trying to get it built over the course of a number of years, seeing our money shrink, our money grow, how much we needed. The cost of the project grew exponentially because of building costs in our area. So we went from a $10 million budget to it was going to cost 12 to 14 to 16. And we had to reduce the size of the project and the amount of equipment I could buy because of these financial priorities. So juggling all of that while still feeding scratch-cooked meals in all the schools was really the hardest piece. I think the most important thing that school food service directors need to understand is they have to partner with the school board, the community, the superintendent, the administration to make these things happen. It doesn't happen in a bubble. It's not like you can do it on your own. It has to be part of a whole. And so they have to understand the importance of scratch cooking, the importance to the health of our children, the health of the planet, to health equity, to making sure that we train our staffs, to workplace development. The one most important thing besides all of that is it needs to be menu driven. You need to understand every piece of equipment that you're putting in, how many hours a day you're going to be there, the skill level of your staff, and make sure in the end that your food cost and your payroll cost make sense for the design you're building. Reflecting back, I think the thing that was really unfortunate is we went in with too little money. But we have a great facility, and over time it will get better as monies become available, even potentially from the Build Back Better money, to be able to add more equipment that we need. The thing I'm the most proud of is that when we looked at the menus, when we looked at the horizons, we came up with numbers that really made sense. And we bought equipment and thought through staffing that would make sense. And what happened is, right now all meals are free. So the quantity of meals have gone up for lunches over 40% from pre-COVID. And we were ready. This building could handle that. And with the support of the superintendent, the school boards, the administration, this is now a successful running operation.
My name is Mara Fleischman, and I'm the CEO of the Chef Ann Foundation. For those of you who don't know about the Chef Ann Foundation, we're a national organization that's been around over a decade that helps school districts move from processed heat and serve to cook from scratch. We wanted to take you through a tour here of Boulder Valley and show you the thought that went into all of the spaces that they built out and all of the equipment they chose to meet the needs of their menu and their community. This kitchen services over 50 schools in Boulder Valley. Those schools span over 500 square miles in the county. As we look at purchasing equipment and building out infrastructure, it's really important that we think about how that meets the needs of our menus and of our long-term plans for our school food program. Just looking at this facility, it's nearly 33,000 square feet and over 6,000 square feet of connected refrigeration and dry storage. This facility cost nearly $16.3 million to build, and of that, $4 million was spent on equipment. So we're going to really be able to take you through and see how those funds were spent.
Hi, my name is Yuri Sano. I'm the executive chef for Boulder Valley School District. We're standing out in front of the Culinary Center, and we're about to take a tour. Okay, so this is our dock area. This is really where everything starts. This is where all the food for everything that we make comes into the building. We have 6 stock bays, 4 of them for outgoing food, 2 for incoming food. One thing we learned kind of in the process is that no 2 delivery trucks are the same. They're all different shapes and sizes. They all have different delivery heights. So one thing that we did with all of our docks is we put these levelers in. So these can easily be lifted and then put down on the dock of any truck and kind of give us a ramp so that we can get food in and out of those trucks. We have 4 bays that are specific for our smaller trucks, and then we also have 2 bays for semi-trucks, which most of our deliveries from our prime vendor come on semi-trucks. Some of our commodity foods also come on semi-trucks. When we poured the concrete for this building, it was all poured identically. So what we had to do is build different size ramps so that all of our different size delivery trucks could make it up to our dock level. We do a lot of work with local farms. Local farmers deliver in box trucks, they also deliver in vans, they deliver in pickup trucks, they deliver in Subarus. So none of these bays would actually work for them. So what we kind of did as an afterthought was what we call the farmer door. Our farmers deliver to this door at ground level, unlike our dock. Things like local potatoes, which I'm going to show you later what we're doing with those. Once all the food comes into the building, it goes into one of our storage areas. We have 3 main storage areas: dry storage, the refrigerator, and then the freezer. This is our dry storage area, 4 stories high. Like the other 2, this is actually outside of the building. It's one of the things we did to save a little bit of money, was to put the coolers on the outside of the building. This is the structure for the box. So everything is built around these. We have specialized equipment. Reach trucks, they'll actually get 4 stories high, and then they are 2 deep with these bump rails. Bump rails allow you to put 2 pallets of product, one behind the other. One of the things we've been able to do by centralizing everything is to bring in stuff like 55-gallon drums of tomatoes. One of those drums replaces about 10 cases of cans. So not only are we saving a lot on recycling and then the amount of recycling, it's just far faster. Another labor-saving thing we've been able to do is go to dried beans. It saves us so much time not opening up those cans of beans. So this is our bulk refrigerator storage. Very similar to dry storage. We store a lot of our dairy products, shredded cheese, lots of fruit in here, vegetables, local produce. We have Colorado apples. This is also where we store all of the food for production. This is also 4 stories high, same as the other one. So we use the same reach truck that we do in the freezer and in dry storage. These are only 1 pallet wide. This is our veg prep room. All dirty vegetables come through this room first. Don't go anywhere further into the building. It's kind of a big empty room because we use it for trimming up vegetables as well. It kind of has to be modular. We have a couple pieces of equipment that are really cool here. This sink here allows us to add what we call parasitic acid. It's really a pretty natural ingredient. Antimicrobial, antibacterial wash for our vegetables. Part of our HACCP plan says that all of our ready-to-eat root vegetables, namely a lot of the stuff that we put on the salad bar, go through a parasitic acid wash. So all that stuff happens in here. The Esker, I call it the potato washer. You can fit between 50 and 100 pounds of product in here. And what it does is it injects water kind of like a hot tub and just kind of gets dirt flowing off of those vegetables. We still have to scrub it some, but what we used to do in our regional kitchens was basically fill a sink with water, put 25 pounds, 50 pounds of vegetables in there, and it was all hand scrubbed. So this takes a little bit of that manual labor. The one thing I will say about this room, just because of the amount of vegetables that we process in this facility, it's a bit undergunned. But what the modular space has kind of allowed us to do is add a vegetable washing system, which we'll be getting in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which will actually allow us to wash a lot more vegetables with a lot less labor. You kind of have to think about that as you're designing your facility. How important is this space? To us, this is a really important space. We need a little bit more equipment in this room to wash the amount of vegetables that we wash. One other piece of equipment that we kind of bought as an afterthought is this pneumatic can opener. So rather than the old manual can opener, which, you know, would probably hurt your shoulder eventually, this thing is you press a button and the top pops right off of it. It's pretty cool. So once all the vegetables get washed, they go into here. It really is the only other walk-in we have in this place for all of our produced foods. The potatoes that we're using for mashing, after they got washed in the esker, come in here for storage until we're ready to produce those mashed potatoes. One thing that we don't store in any of our bulk refrigeration is meat. Chicken, beef, pork, that all goes into meat storage. It's a full wash down room. We can spray this down completely with soap, water, sanitizer. We don't have to worry about getting the walls wet or the floors. All the meat comes into this room before moving any further into the facility. Okay, so we are now in the meat preparation room. This is a complete wash down room. The idea is fresh proteins go from meat storage into the meat prep room where they're breaded or vacuum sealed or other, and then go directly into the combi ovens. Our breading machine, which is way easier than hand breading everything. We have 3 of these, and these came from our regional kitchens, and we still use them here. We have our vacuum sealer. So all of our bone-in chicken, pork, chuck roast, all that gets seasoned and then vacuum sealed. So everything has been packaged in a way where we can't cross-contaminate. The next room we're going into is the ingredient room. This is where we scale all of our recipes before they move further into the facility. In here, basically, somebody is handed a recipe. All the ingredients that are needed for that recipe are scaled properly in this room before somebody actually goes and makes that recipe. Salad dressings, taco meat, refried beans, marinara sauce, anything like that is going to get scaled here first. Next, follow me into the production area. This is really kind of the heart of the operation where all the food is being prepared. So this part of the production area actually contains some of the equipment that we were able to salvage from our regional kitchens. We have a couple Rational combi ovens and a couple tilt skillets. We still use this equipment, especially the Rationals. All of our French fries are still cooked in the Rationals. Some of the stuff like bone-in chicken that we did primarily in the Rationals, we have other ways of producing that now, but we still use this a lot. The other thing that's nice about this is there's been times where we've had issues with our new equipment and we haven't been able to sous vide or cook chill that food, and we've been able to fall back, rely on this tried and true equipment that we're very used to using. So it's great that we've been able to salvage a lot of this stuff. Over here we have our potatoes that are all scaled out, ready to go, ready for the mashed potatoes that we're about to make. And this is our cook chill area. What cook chill is a way of pasteurizing and sealing and preserving food for an extended period of time. We also do all of our sous vide cooking in here, which is very similar. It's a way of vacuum sealing, cooking, and then holding food. According to our HACCP plan, we can hold food for up to 21 days in this facility, and then another 7 days once it leaves the facilities at the site. So 28 days total. When we were in our regional kitchens, we were cooking things 2 days ahead of time, so it could ship a day ahead of time, so it could be served on the menu the following day. Now we can actually cook multiple menu hits all at once. For example, our mashed potatoes, we're cooking for 2 separate menu hits, not just for the one that's going to happen next week, but for the one that's going to happen in another week and a half after that. The way we produce mashed potatoes now, we'll cook them fully in that 200-gallon kettle, then we drain off all that water, and then we have the emulsifier. It takes the place of all of our hand wands. It will take that mashed potato and send it through a couple different blades bring it back into the kettle and make a really smooth puree. Once we got the consistency that we like, we'll send it through our auto bagger that basically will bag, label, and then send that product down this conveyor into the chill tank. We can completely package that 200-gallon kettle full of mashed potatoes. We can package that in about 45 minutes. Once it gets into the cool tank, we can cool that 200 gallons of mashed potatoes from whatever temperature it starts at, 180 degrees to 41 degrees in about another 45 minutes. So that's really, really fast. So another thing that automatic bagger does for us is it'll actually print a label on the bag. So this one's marked mashed potatoes, the date it was produced, the amount of product in the bag, and then we have an identifier on there as well. So probably my favorite piece of equipment in this whole place is our sous vide tank. The thing I love about it is it makes all the food taste absolutely delicious. Pork sous vide, our chuck roast that we use for barbacoa, and our Philly cheesesteak also go into the sous vide tank. We can fit about 1,000 to 1,500 pounds of product in here at once. And what it does is it just makes everything in there taste really, really juicy and delicious. What sous vide is a way to cook under vacuum at very, very precise temperatures and very precise times. So right now we have chicken thighs in here, 1,000 pounds of chicken thighs. We'll cook that to 151 degrees for 1 minute, which kills all pathogens. At that point, all of this really, really hot water will drain. It will refill with room temperature water, and then there's cooling coils in there, and what the cooling coils will do is chill that product. So the other beauty of this piece of equipment is somebody can press a button on their way out the door. It will cook that product, it'll cool that product, and by the time the AM shift walks in the next day, it's ready to take out of the cook tank. Next we'll head into cold prep. So this is our cold prep room. It's held anywhere between 47, 50 degrees. Pizzas are made in here. The salad bar that we send out is produced in here as well. Anything that we need to stay cold throughout the process. This allows us to serve a product that's going to be safer from the time it came in the door to the time it's left the building. It's maintained temperature, and it allows us to work with product longer. One thing this space was made to do was be very modular. We can move things around to make the space work for us. Everything here is on wheels, and all the electrical are on electrical drops located all over the place. So wherever we might need to plug in a piece of equipment, we can do that. These are horizontal mixers called Fitosas. These actually came out of our regional kitchens. We still use them. There's really nothing else that can mix this amount of product all at once. So this is called the Sprint 2. This thing basically will dice julienne. This is really kind of a very universal piece of equipment that we use for pretty much anything. Most of our salad bar comes through here. It makes all of our French fries for us. It also shreds our pork and our beef and our chicken now. Fit it with whatever blades for whatever type of cut that you want, and it can handle that. What we were using in our regional kitchens were these Hobarts. And these were nice. They were, you know, a step up from doing everything by hand. But basically what you do is you lift this up, you put your carrots or potatoes or whatever you want in there, you close this, and then you do it again. And you keep doing it, you keep doing it. Now with the Urschel Sprint, once this is closed, if we're doing French fries, we're just dumping it into this hopper. We take as many as you can manage, and it can go as fast as you need it to. The other piece of equipment that we have that's new is this Urschel. This is called the CC. What this does is it shreds. So blocks of cheese we can shred in practically no time. We save cost on shredding our own cheese for pizzas. It also saves a lot of plastic by not having to open up all those bags. Now we're in the dish room. We have a Hobart dish machine. This is very similar to what we had in our regional kitchens and what a lot of schools have out there in their sites. One of the kind of big new piece of equipment we got is the LVO rack washer. So what this does is it allows us to load up these types of racks. We can actually fit 2 of these in one of the LVOs. We can wash a ton of sheet pans all at once, hotel pans. They make one of these racks for just about anything. It's kind of just a walk-in dish machine. Anything that we don't necessarily want to put in the LVO, we can wash right here. The reason that this is nice is when we were in our regional kitchens, all of our totes and stuff, we were washing that outside. So it was really weather dependent. Now we can wash those things off daily as needed. Once all the food is cooked, labeled, packaged, ready to get shipped, it goes into one of our 3 dispatch coolers. This one happens to be the freezer. So our pizzas go directly into here, hot dogs, anything that needs to maintain a frozen temperature will be stored here, ready to ship. So our second dispatch cooler is what we call the slush freezer, warm freezer. Basically what it is, it's between a freezer and a refrigerator. It's held at about 30 degrees. All of our sous vide product, all of our cook chill product needs to go in here. This is what is in our HACCP plan and what also lets us hold things for 21 days in this facility before it goes out to the sites. So you see all of our bagged items, our baked beans. Here's some of those mashed potatoes that we saw earlier. So anything that's held, cook chill or sous vide stays in this room until it gets shipped out to the sites. Finally, we have our dispatch cooler. This is where all the prepared food ends up in a tote to get shipped out to our sites. We have a team of people that take that prepared product, get it into totes with all the right paperwork so we make sure it gets to the right place. That's pretty much what that looks like. Once the food is packed out in totes, it's ready to ship. Get back on the trucks, right back at the docks. At Boulder Valley School District, we're up almost 40% in meal sales this year. That's roughly 16,000 meals a day. We wouldn't be able to meet that capacity without a facility like the Culinary Center. If we were still working out of our regional kitchens, that would be really tough to do. So this has really allowed us to meet the demands of our students. I want to thank you all for coming with me on my tour. We'll see you later.